Welcome to another episode of the Angels Positivity and Love Show. Incredible guests the world over, amazing insights, high vibes. Often they're healers. They're certainly helping others. We've had some incredible guests on: White House physician to the US president, youngest Delta Force operator, Australian actor Ian Stenlake. Uh, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. John Gray is coming back for his third appearance. And we've got CATHERINE Carrigan. She's been on quite a bit, whether it's the APL Spotlight series or the main show. I think this is probably her fourth, fifth, sixth time, and we enjoy having her on. She's from Atlanta, highly intuitive, 35 years of medical intuitive healing, helping others that way. She's got at least 10 books out, eight of which have been #1 on Amazon. She's a show host for a long time in the UK, although it's global, a global platform with almost 2 million audience. Her audience for her weekly show is probably around 45, 46,000. It's the Natural Healing Show. She's been kind enough to have me on as a guest a few times. CATHERINE, great to see you in Atlanta. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Michael, for having me. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening.
Well, CATHERINE, you're amazing at what you do. You're a hyper intuitive. You're really good at just paying attention and listening. Can we go for the $1 trillion question going on? Here we are taping at the end of May. And there's a lot of complexity on Earth with mankind, and yet somehow love is a constant, love is a possibility, or we'll call it greater compassion, kindness, just a happy flow. It has never gone away or shrunk in the slightest. What do we all need to know with all the complexity going on today around us, around the globe, like the Middle East and elsewhere?
Okay. Well, I think you have to go back to chaos theory. So chaos theory, Nobel Prize winning chaos theory. So in order to move to a higher level, you have to go through chaos. So sometimes a good analogy is if you know any teenagers and you open the door to their room, shake your head, go, "Oh my God, this is such a disaster." Shut the door and go, "I can't handle this." Well, they're reorganizing at a higher level. So I think that globally, socially, culturally, we're all reorganizing at a higher level. So, it's so easy to say, gosh, I was more comfortable with the way things were. I thought I knew what was going on, but it's just reassuring to know that when you see a very high level of chaos, that means we're all reorganizing. And reorganization is not always comfortable or easy, but
Sounds like the back patio getting redone on some houses. There's a concrete slab. It's not the foundation, but they got to jackhammer that, rip it out, and you've got some angst for at least a few days, a few weeks. You're not sure about the crew. And then the next thing you know, you got a beautiful, hopefully beautiful finished project.
yes, great analogy. If you've ever done any home renovation, you're like, "Oh my God, I don't know. I can deal with this." I remember a couple of years ago, I was working on my house and I thought I had everything, all back together. And I was going to put my kitchen back in order. And then I came in the kitchen, turned the water on, and there was water all over my kitchen floor. And I just started crying, like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can deal with this." But now I look at my kitchen and it's like it's done. So,
So, talk to us about our own potential transformation. It's not about Disclosure or Disclosure Day, the movie, or any of the external stuff. Somehow it's within and it's available to all of us. And it's a lot easier if you can get out of thinking. Tell us a little bit more about what our opportunity is individually on our own unique life paths.
so I think that it's really an important time to lean into your own personal spiritual practice, whatever that may be. And, so many of us, we think I've got it all figured out. And a good analogy is exercise. Like I've taught yoga now for 33 years, so I just think yoga is wonderful. Other people hate yoga. They're like you, they would rather go running. And I used to be running. I used to run up and down the mountain. So going back to the spiritual practice, your personal spiritual practice is going to be unique to you, just like your own favorite pair of jeans. But I think it's really important to have a spiritual practice of your own that you can lean into to just set your vibration for the whole day. And it becomes a part of your life so that it comforts you, it helps remind you of who you are, it helps to give you the guidance that you need so that you can, again, navigate what's coming up. So, and it's really important to experiment with different things and try different ways of approaching your spirituality. I'll just say what I do, not that I'm right, not that it'll work for everybody, but usually there's a wonderful app called Insight Timer, and there's lots and lots of guided meditations there. So I usually listen to a guided meditation on Insight Timer. I listen to different people. And then I go into my prayer practice and I have a large number of people that I pray for regularly, including myself. It's really important to pray for yourself and pray for your family. And then after that, I usually do a seated meditation. So then I sit up and I just sit quietly for 20 minutes. And, for some of us, seated meditation, where you're just being completely quiet, it could be the hardest thing you do all day. But on the other hand, it's also the easiest thing you do all day, where you just accept what's going on and just really notice, oh, wow, this is what's really on my mind. And finally, you get to that quiet space. I know that through my own seated practice, meditation practice, recently I've had a really strong connection with my soul star chakra, which is above the crown of my head. I've literally even seen it. I'm like, wow, what is that bright light over the crown of my head? And again, when you take the time to find your own spiritual practice, again, you realize I'm not just a human being. I've got all this help from the other side. And then after doing all that, then I usually listen to my angels. And I call on all my angels. I call them in. And then, they may just tell me a few words of guidance.
And I
But
should have mentioned in your intro, you've got photos of angels. You've had strong encounters with angels all along. With your permission, we're going to do a stop, drop, and roll sudden exercise, but there's no exercise involved, and it's just spontaneous fun. If you wouldn't mind sitting back, closing your eyes, and connecting to that star above you and getting a message for all of us, but hopefully we have you take like a good 30 seconds or so or longer. I'm going to light some sage at this end and blow it. So we're going to double dip here and get you a little sage, maybe some ocean and flower smells. Who knows what you come back with. And folks at home, you can catch a little bit of sage. Be sure to like the show. You're helping others get access to this program. We're an intimate show. We broke 3,000 subscribers. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment. If you catch the sage through two screens wherever you are in the world, an emoji counts if you're shy. No one will know that you're admitting that you actually caught some sage in Tokyo, Berlin, Christchurch. Red-tailed hawk feather, I'm blowing now. And Catherine is wildly intuitive, very good at listening, very good at paying attention. You're already getting the sage. I can snub it out. Okay. And then what do you get from, we'll call it your higher self soul, the alignment highway, the Kundalini Express into the cosmos? What do you just get for all of us?
so what I'm getting, there's a great quote from Rumi, and Rumi says that only light can drive out darkness. And as I mentioned, I mean, I've been doing all this prayer and meditation like we all have for, so long I can't remember. But just recently, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the hard thing and sit, okay, because I usually lie and listen to guided meditation. I'm going to sit and just be quiet. And then by doing that, then I literally have been seeing my soul star chakra. And so again, it's above the crown of your head. So it's really having a visual, an inner vision of seeing the light that I bring into the world. But I am really saying this with all humility. This is a soul light that we all have. And a lot of us get lost in the darkness. We get lost in the darkness of society. We get lost in drama and chaos in our own lives, or it's so easy to get lost in drama and chaos. Whether it's you're watching it on TV or you're watching it in somebody else's life or your own life. But when you take the time to really tune into your own soul light and realize the importance of that, and that it's your light that actually other people need from you. And if you do healing work like I do, it's your soul light that's actually doing the work. It's not your intellect. No matter how smart you think you are, or how many years of experience that you think you have, it's the soul light that's actually doing the work.
Um, did you pick up a message for everybody from that little exercise, or just going still? Or I can put up Charlotte, an angel you've met before. Can we get a reminder for everybody, for each of us watching right now? What's Charlotte want us to know?
So this is what Charlotte is sharing with me. She's showing me a representation of a rainbow with the different colors. And she says that each of us are like the different colors on a rainbow. So if you think about a rainbow, there's no rainbow without the pink or without the blue or without the yellow. Like we all need all of these colors, all these vibrations. And so many of us go into low self-esteem, or we feel like I don't know my purpose yet. And yet what Charlotte is saying, that if you're alive, it's world needs your unique vibration, even if you can't see your soul light, even if you don't know what your purpose is. Um, but Charlotte is saying that if you're alive, that the world needs you, and to just really honor the unique vibration that you are.
Can you share with us one of those anecdotes, something that's happened to you in the last few decades? It could be anything, running into an angel in human form, seeing auras on people, a lucid dream, something that happened overseas. One of those types of very special stories that had a profound impact.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to tell you angel story. It's a pretty good angel story. Okay. And it was around Christmas. And this was, I'm laughing at myself. This is, falls under the category of I'm so old that. So this was before cell phones, or at least before I had a cell phone. So there was one Christmas, and my husband and I were driving up to Virginia. And I live in Atlanta. We live in Atlanta. And I was driving into Virginia to for Christmas holiday. And for whatever reason, I do not know why we were driving separately. Sometimes people leave at a different time. So I remember at the time I didn't have very much money, and I stopped at Shoney's. Again, that also is, I'm so old that I stopped at Shoney's, ate dinner, had it. I think I had left less than $5 after I finished eating dinner at Shoney's. And then I got in my car and I was driving north on 85 north, north of Atlanta. It was completely dark. And all of a sudden, my car gave me problems. I'm a girl. I don't really know anything about cars. And my car gave me problems. And all of a sudden, it just pretty much died. And it whenever was able to pull it off the interstate. Okay. So it's completely dark. I'm in the middle of literally nowhere. I have no cell phone, and I have less than $5. And I remember saying a prayer at the time, and I just said, "Dear God, please help me to get to the next exit." Well, literally just like that. Like you could just snap your fingers. I said the prayer, my car's pulling over, and this huge 18-wheeler truck pulled over to the side of the road. Like I think he must have just seen my car die, and they pulled over. And I got out of my car, got my purse and my coat and my hat, and locked my car, walked over to the van. And it was a man and a woman. And because it was a man and a woman, a husband and wife, I kind of felt safe. getting in. So they talked to me. Anyway, they helped me get to the next section. So my prayer was answered. So there I am. I had no way of communicating with my husband, and he was leaving after me. So he was basically behind me on the interstate. So at the time, we were at this truck stop, and the gentleman had just had surgery, and I cannot remember what was going on or why he'd had the surgery. I think he had some kind of throat problem, but he was in tremendous pain, and I'm a healer. And so they were very kind to rescue me. And again, I, couldn't call my husband because didn't have a cell phone, no way to reach him. So I did healing work with him for about an hour in the truck stop. And literally, just as I got him out of pain, who should show up at the truck stop but my husband? And he had seen my car, which was a dirty white car. I can't remember. Again, I'm a girl. I don't remember what kind of car it was. Uh, Pulled over at the side of the road, and he just freaked out. He's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" So he comes to this truck stop. I just helped the trucker, the gentleman, get out of pain. So, it was sort of perfect timing there. And so my husband and the trucker, they get back in the van and they, do a UE, they go around to my car, and somehow or another, they were able to get it started. And they pulled, got my car to the truck stop. And I was very, very grateful to the husband and wife. And I grew up in the South, and in the South, we write thank you notes. And if somebody does you a huge favor, you write a thank you note. And so when when I got to where I was going, we finally got to Virginia, and it was quite an unusual journey because my car was having a lot of problems, but I would just say a lot of prayers and the car would, somehow overcome the problem. Don't ask me how that works. I couldn't tell you, and I wouldn't recommend prayer as the primary way of fixing an old car. Take it to the mechanic. It's probably going to work better. But in this case, every time the car would have a problem, I would just pray over it, and we finally got to where we were going. Anyway, so we got to where I was going, and I wrote a thank you note to the couple, and they'd given me their address. It was someplace in Texas. And I know I wrote the address down properly. And then a couple weeks, I wrote a thank you note saying, thank you so much for rescuing me off the side of the road, right before Christmas. And I got, when you get the letter was returned to me. I went to my mailbox, and it said addressee unknown. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was rescued by angels. And I know I wrote the name down, and I know I wrote the address down. And so needless to say, that experience definitely strengthened my faith.
I love that one. Talk to us about dream time for all of us, whether we remember our dreams or remember what happens overnight. Is that unconsciousness consciousness time when we're out like a light? Is that something special where we're kind of merging with the universe or we're getting help some way? How do you like to describe it?
Oh, what an interesting question, because it's interesting. I don't typically remember my dreams, but I have a friend, Don Dennis, in Scotland, who makes healing remedies from orchids. And if you know me or anything about me, I love orchids. My healing room is full of orchids. People have told me you have too many orchids. I'm like, no such thing as too many orchids. And so, needless to say, Don Dennis and I are good friends. And I've been to the Isle of Gia where he raises orchids and makes flower essences from orchids. But interestingly, and I am answering your question, this is a long answer. Recently, he's received guidance to start making essences from gemstones. And this is like so new as of 2026, and that he's made the essences, but usually when you make an essence, then you go through a period of proving it, where you have different people take the essence, and then everybody discusses, well, what does it do? So interestingly, Don Dennis, like myself, were not very good sleepers. So he was making these gem essences partly to help him with his own sleep. And he's got different essences for sleep. And, I think a lot of us are very psychically sensitive. Sleep can be a bit of a challenge. So, any rate, he's made an essence out of lapis lazuli. And lapis lazuli is a blue gemstone. If you know anything about the healing powers of lapis lazuli, it opens your third eye, and it opens your third eye. So, long story. So, Don Dennis has sent me some of his essences, malachite, lapis lazuli. There's lapis lazuli right there, and smoky quartz, malachite. Anyway, so I was immediately drawn to the lapis lazuli essence. And after taking the lapis lazuli essence, then I would start having these very intense visions in my dreams. And I realized that the lapis lazuli essence, and again, if you're listening, I'll say a plug for Don Dennis. His website is healingorchids.com, and you can go to healingorchids.com and look at his gem essences. So I started taking this lapis lazuli essence, and then all of a sudden I'm having these very vivid visions in my dreams, right?
And can you share one in a little bit?
Ah, gosh, I wish I had any, I wish I could tell me. My dreams make no sense. And if you have dreams that make sense, more power to you. But one of the things that I would say, my understanding of dreams is that when you're dreaming, your psyche is working things out. In other words, if you have really intense dreams, because I've had clients who go, oh my gosh, there was all this intense stuff happen. Well, that's your psyche being strong and healthy enough that you can resolve things and work things out in your dreams.
Mm.
So, whether you remember your dreams or have visions in your dreams, know that your psyche is, working things out and cleaning things out.
Can we do a fine tuning of just one concept? The concept of what he does, or anybody who does that, it's getting the vibration into a liquid form that you could put a drop on your tongue. So it's not literally putting orchid essence or the essence of a gem or crystal. It's the vibration gets imprinted onto some sort of formula. Could you just explain that a little bit better?
Oh, great. And I'm sure that Don Dennis would do a much better job of that. Um, but the concept is that we'll just talk about the orchids. Orchids, first of all, are the most evolved flowers on the face of the earth. So, for example, ferns are pretty much the same as they were at the time of the dinosaurs. So they have very stable vibration, but orchids continue to evolve. And if you think about the world that we live in and the planet that we are living on, we're all continuing to evolve. So the orchids are very good at creating remedies that solve issues that we're currently facing. So many people who work with flower essences are familiar with, and I'm going to get to your answer, to Bach flower remedies. Bach flower remedies were made in the 1920s, and they do address core aspects of human personalities, but the orchid essences are much higher vibration, much current vibration. So to answer your question, it's the idea of imprinting a liquid with the vibration of a living thing, and in this case, the orchids. And he's also made these from gem essences, which are, of course, gems are not alive, but he finds really good, clear gems in order to do that. But the idea is, um, whenever we have an illness, there's some sort of vibrational interference in our system. And that by bringing your own vibration into greater harmony and coherence, then we can experience healing. And as a really a good way, a good example of this is when you have a cold. So when you have a cold, you're it's very slowed down vibration. All illness is slowed down vibration. So if you've gone to a nursing home, you walk in the nursing home, you check your watch or your cell phone, you've only been there 5 minutes. You're just like, this seems like days. It's so slowed down. Um, or if you visit a friend in a hospital and they're really sick, it's very slowed down vibration. All healing happens by speeding up or lifting the vibration. And if you listen to Michael Andre Ford and talk about the angels, you'll be like, what just happened? Because it's all happening so fast that you may not even notice it.
Well, let's go ahead and take some of those steps. I'm going to put up a selenite wand point, whatever you want to call it, a block of selenite. And I'd argue that, alive could be a very wiggly definition. So
Yes,
consciousness is consciousness. Everything's got it. So
yes,
here's selenite. You can hear the selenite. You can feel the selenite. You can hear sound bowls physically in the room around you. I know you've done this before, but we're putting you on the spot. What I'd love is not just for you to get all the feeling, hugs, and sound bowls, but could you get a message for humanity from selenite? Now, you don't have to have this to do it tomorrow. Like if you want to participate today, play it back, clear out, get out of your head into your heart, ask angels to get you out of your head into your heart, and that's it. If you need to hear a dad joke, here's a quick one. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU. If you're laughing, you're letting go. And as Mother Teresa said, laughter's love. Okay, here we go, Catherine. We've got a little bit of selenite. If you don't mind getting 5 different ways having consciousness come in from selenite.
yes. So it's basically saying pull yourself out of the drama, lift your vibration. It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay, and then I've never done this on a show. We've had 500 tapings, 75 solo, 25 mind, body, spirit panels. I think we're at 308 for the regular show, and 116 are booked for the APL Spotlight Series. We have folks come back on. I always say they're really fun guests, but they're all fun. But we have sort of a more instant program. It's the same as the other one, just lots of action. You can participate. I'm going to put Charlotte up as our ambassador, but I'm going to be your guinea pig. I'm going to put my hand up. If you don't mind connecting to my higher self, which is a lot more fun, enthusiasm, orange light. If you'll close your eyes, put your hand up first, connect, get a baseline. Just love and above only, not my bill paying side, not my, hey, my show's not on, and I was expecting it on TV. They changed the scheduling for the Spurs. I'm kidding. But connect, close your eyes, and see my higher self, see my soul, complete bubbles of orange light coming off me. What am I saying for everybody? I don't get the access that you are getting. So congratulations, Catherine. You can ask anything, by the way, on the side.
So this is what I get about you, Michael Andre Ford, is that you're very good at playing with other people's souls.
Oh,
And
whoa. Let's be careful how we phrase that in a
so
respectful, dignified way.
but if you think about play, when you get out of survival mode when you're playing,
Yes.
and that many people are so serious that we forget how to play. So I get that you're very good at bringing you basically play with other people's souls in a very delightful way.
And I'm enthusiasm, so you have to take me with a grain of salt. But speaking of Sirius, this angel's light waves of energy and water. She's got a background from Sirius, not Andromeda, not Orion. She's Mother Hawaii. Again, light waves of energy and water. And
Mhm.
this one's joy, very high vibe, more cosmic. Between the two of them, we'll do a last interactive thing here. What are these two angels reminding everybody? And if you could get something private, like a compliment from them, or 2 compliments, one of which you have to share out loud. Get 2 compliments, but which one can you share out loud?
I, I'm just laughing. They're telling me I've been doing this for multiple lifetimes.
I bet. And then what's the reminder for everybody out there? This is our last interactive thing. What are these two angels saying for humanity and for each of us watching?
They're saying find the balance between grounded reality and hope. and that they're saying that people are losing hope and that they need to keep hope alive.
Okay, I lied. I got one more angel for you because you mentioned Hope. There's an angel named Hope. She's peach colored, and you're in the peach state, Georgia. So
Yeah.
close your eyes and have peach light come in, have Hope come in, have her do some wondrous non-verbal stuff, and out of it, Hope will give you a little message too to add on since her name came up.
So she's using some kind of wand, and it's like she's clearing energy. And what she's telling me, she's literally clearing energy, and she's telling me that people need to be a better job, do a better job of clearing the energy around them, to be responsible, to be more responsible for the energy that you bring and the energy in your space. So there, she's saying that just like we do house cleaning where you change your seats and wash the floors and clean the windows, that people need to be responsible for the energy and the spaces, their homes, their offices, and also to be much more responsible for the energy that you bring wherever you are. Because she's saying that where if you go someplace, you're bringing your energy there, and we need to be do a better job of understanding how our energy affects other people, both good and bad, and to take responsibility for that. And she's saying that by understanding how your energy affects other people and affects the world around you, that for many people who are suffering from self-esteem, when they realize the light that they bring to others, then they can begin to sense and the difference that you're already making in the world.
Hmm. And you've just touched on how we're going to close this one out. Um, I've learned a couple of things in 15 years. I'm a slow learner. Here are three things I think I know, or four. And this ties into what you were just sharing from Hope. How you spend your energy is how you spend it. Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. Be very aware of where you're putting yourself. As soon as you realize the difference between here and here, so between awareness, love, between thinking, resisting, judging, that's what we're going to get you talking about is these flows and kind of combobulating it all into one final closing statement.
Mm.
Um, and I also learned angels do exist. Trust that it's so. You'll get your experiences directly, answers, hugs, and much more, but try not to worry about it. I spent years trying to figure out angels, and I got this far. Hey, they exist. Get over it. And they're unconditional love beings if that's easier to swallow. But Catherine, can you pull it all together? There's something up here called thinking. A lot of people rest up there. Mankind, that's the currency today. And I think that's what's getting altered with the whole landscape around the globe. We're going to be relying a lot more on heart, compassion, kindness. Talk to us about all of that stuff.
Okay. So when I remember when I went to write my second book, which is called What is Healing? I'll have to look. What is healing? Awaken your intuitive power for health and happiness. So when I went to start writing that book, I literally started with one thought, which is when you learn how to love unconditionally, then you know whatever it is you need to know. So I'll say that again. When you love unconditionally, then you know whatever you need to know. So, for example, a mother who loves her child will know exactly what that child needs. What kind of food, when to say no, and so on. And so many people are afraid of their intuition. They're afraid of their own intuition. They're afraid of other people's intuition because they're afraid of being judged. And whenever Mother Teresa said it really well, she said, if you judge other people, you have no time to love them. And so judgment is a projection of our own ego. When I say this is bad or that person is bad, or, and we can all say, I don't like that, or I don't like that person, or I don't like what's happening in the world. That's all a projection of ego, right? And it's all a projection of our intellect and what we think is right, what we think is wrong. But to really access your spiritual guidance, you have to practice loving yourself, loving others, loving the world, and really knowing at a very deep level that everything is happening is all for the highest good of you and everyone around you, even if in the moment it makes absolutely no sense or it all looks like a big train wreck. So again, in order to access true, accurate, intuitive information, ironically, you have to let go of everything you think you know. I remember when I studied medical intuition, my teacher said, our job is to show up and get out of the way. And so, yes, I've done my work for 33 years. I went to Brown, I was Phi Beta Kappa, I published 10 books, I run this radio show, yada, 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 yada. But when I really want to get true, accurate information from my soul for the benefit of myself and others, you have to let go of everything you think you know. You have to let go of what you think is wrong or right, because that's all a projection. And just really intellectually even getting that what I think is wrong or right, that's just a projection. And so by really, again, getting into the vibration of love, and then you access a very deep level of knowledge. And most people, when they think about love, they get confused. They think about romantic love. There's many ways of love. And so you can practice getting into the vibration of love by admiring a garden, admiring a flower, playing with your dog. After all this spiritual stuff that I do, then the next thing I do, of course, I get up, put on my clothes, is play with my dog. So that I start my day in this very joyful state. And she always looks forward to it. I always look forward to it. It's part of our family routine. And she's just squealing with delight. And I rub her belly and scratch her ears. And it's just like, yay, it's another happy day being my puppy. And I get to be your mommy all day. So when we practice getting into that vibration of love, ironically, that's when you tap into very deep levels of actual knowledge, because actual knowledge and actual true understanding goes beyond the intellect. And it's something that when you know it's right, it feels right.
Now, I'm not sure if Mother Teresa said it on the other side or when she was alive, but she said laughter is love. She also said compassion, and I know this was from the other side around 2012. Compassion is not dependent on any one person's happiness. Now, we're going to bring her in as a final act to close the show out in just a moment. I'm going to
Mm,
show some aura consciousness light colors on my fingers. We're going to go a little wider and let Mother Teresa come in and do a design, perhaps.
mm,
First, we're going to do the little Celestine prophecy thing, but as Sue Frederick said, she's gotten plugged 100 times saying this. Back in the 70s, we were doing this before the movie existed. In India, they do it this way. You're great at seeing auras, and then Mother Teresa is going to help you. It's sort of like that light bright, bright light, light bright from the 1970s, those toys. You plug in the things and the lights come on. I think if you were a kid in the 70s, you'd remember it. Anyhow, one dad joke first. It's Bert and Ernie, Sesame Street. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. Not important who's who. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? Sure, Bert. Okay, here we go. I'll show a little bit of light between my fingers, then we're going to go bigger and wider after you say what you see. Breathe at home, relax, see with all of you, see without saying the Zen thing. Here we go. And Catherine, what are you seeing in Atlanta right now?
I'm actually seeing a face. It's like an angel wanting to show up, and I think what I get is your guardian angel.
Ooh, and
It's
that's the
your,
orange silhouette one, Min, his light waves of energy and water.
yeah, it's your guardian angel.
Okay, I'm going to have a seat. Um, What's a final reminder? But if you can co-create with Mother Teresa, you and her, just a few sentences, and if you don't mind catching roses, something that'll catch you off guard, or orchids and roses, or something,
She's
hydrangea.
Yeah, she's saying that we take the pain and suffering in the world too easily, and too heavily. We take the pain and suffering of the world too heavily, and the way to exist among the pain and the suffering is to maintain the deep connection with your own spiritual light.
Mm. Beautiful, beautiful way to end the show. Catherine Carrigan, you're amazing show host. 10 books, eight of which have been number one on Amazon. 35 years medical intuitive healer. People can get in touch if they're in a pinch. And all the details will be below this video on YouTube. Thank you, Catherine, for joining us today. Great seeing you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks, everybody out there listening.